Hey, everybody. I'm here with Clinton Porter, realtor out of Denver, Colorado. Been in the business for about 14 years. We're going to have a good talk. Here we go. Stick around. Clinton Porter.
Hey, what's going on, Mr. Jeff?
It is good to see you.
Hey, it's good to see you too.
I appreciate your time. I know you're busy doing all kinds of stuff. Just got back from a class. You were taking update classes and stuff. Yeah?
Oh man, yeah, those required update courses. But Colorado's always making a little bit of changes and tweaks to the contracts every single year, and so
every year,
you got to stay in front of that. So
definitely. Well, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you jumping on here. So
you bet.
Thank you so much for your time. So real quick, let's get into it. You in the business. Are you from Colorado, born and raised, or where are you from?
So no, I got here as soon as I could. I actually. I'm one of those Texas transplants that came up here I actually moved to the Springs in 1995 and
Colorado Springs.
Worked in the city for the city of Colorado Springs for a little while and then eventually left that. Got into healthcare, believe it or not. Had a career in healthcare that was thriving, and then some guy I was rooming with. He was in one of these detached townhome type things. He asked me the question, about 17 years ago. He's like, "What do you do?" And I said, "I do healthcare, back office, administrative type work." And he said, "Well, quit what you're doing and come work for me." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" I said, "What do you do?" And he said, "I do home mortgages." And I said, "Oh, you do home mortgages?" I said, "Well." Then we kind of got into a little bit of conversation about his compensation and all that. And I'm like, okay. Look, just give me I got to give him a 2-week notice in case this doesn't work out.
Yeah.
So it's quite funny.
So you got into mortgages. That's how you started
initially.
In real estate.
Yeah, that's how I started. So before the mortgage crash, which I'm sure that we'll get around to when we're talking about, what's going on today in today's world.
Sure.
But before that whole mortgage crash, I got involved in home mortgages. I actually worked as a mortgage broker for a little while, and then went to work for left that. I did go to work for my friend, and did that for a little while. Then went to a small bank on the East Coast called BB&T Bank out on the East Coast. I worked for those guys for a little while, for probably about 3 years. I should say about a year and a half, 2 years. And then went from there to Chase Bank. So right as went to Chase right as the mortgage crash was happening, as a matter of fact. So yeah. Did
that lead you? Go ahead. Yeah. Did that lead you to the switch then, getting your real estate license? What made you decide to do that?
Not exactly. You want to hear the story about how I accidentally got into real estate?
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
So So the mortgage crisis is happening, and we're kind of freaking out, pulling out of hair, and going, "What's going on?" So at that time, I was married to someone else. I've been married and divorced. Married to somebody else, and she said, "I think I'm going to go ahead and get my real estate license, but I want you to go to classes with me." And I said, "Look, whatever. I don't care. Just whatever. Let's just make it happen." I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
And so on the day that we were set to take courses, she comes to me and she goes, "I've kind of rethought this. I don't want to take classes. You take the classes." I'm like, I don't have time for classes. So I call up the Realtor Association, and I'm like, "Hey, yeah, I gotta get a refund for these classes that are supposed to start tonight." And they said, "Look, we'll refund one of your admissions, but we're not gonna refund you both. So somebody's either going to class or you're just gonna miss out." And I'm like, "Well, I guess I'm getting my real estate license."
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Okay. So that was that was probably about like October of 2007, I think. 2007. Got my real estate license, hung it with a boutique at first, and then hung it over at Keller Williams Realty. And but man, it was a it was an experience that we went through. But I stayed in home mortgages until probably I want to say like August of 2009, and then decided to burn the ships. Like, I'm doing this real estate. I think real estate is going to be much more profitable. And at that point, you had a lot of people that were doing a lot of short sales and all of that. And so got involved in real estate and have stayed in real estate ever since. And so, yeah, I got
Your
all
first
these
couple of years, because
career-level
again,
stuff.
the market was starting to rebound. I mean, that was a long process back then.
Yeah, it
I've
was.
been doing this 21 years now. And man,
Yeah.
2008, I had a team. We had to make all kinds of adjustments
Oh man.
to make
Yeah.
that work, and we got through it and stuff. But I had to learn how to do short sales. I'd never done a short sale, and
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I got it. I went ahead and took some of. Do you remember this guy that put out this certified distressed property expert? Do you remember that merit badge? I call it merit badge.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
um,
I mean, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Can't think of the guy's name. Anyway, I got involved in that, and that gave me a lot of education about how to be able to handle short sales. I actually became a short sale foreclosure specialist or resource or whatever the NAR dictates it as, but got involved in that, and it was good. I mean, from that start of going full time to the end of that, about October to October of '09 to 10 was a good year, and then doubled the business in 2011, and just about tripled that in 2000. Not tripled year over year, but tripled what I had done in 2010 in 2012. So it's just kind of been building. So yeah.
Were you at Keller Williams at that point?
Yeah, I was at Keller Williams at that point. Actually left for about myself and another associate that worked at Keller Williams came together in a bit of a partnership, she and I, and things didn't quite work out with that business arrangement at Keller Williams. So we ended up going over to Remax. We're over at Remax for almost 2 years, I think. And then by that point, the old office that I used to work with with Keller Williams, actually in Littleton, Colorado, they had experienced a little bit of a change in the team leadership. And so the team leader began to reach out and was like, Clinton, come on, it's awesome. You should come back. And I'm like, I miss the family,
Yeah.
I do. I miss the family. And that's one of the reasons why I stay with Keller Williams. I think combined, I was with KW for nearly 12 years before going over to EXP I think October year before last. So, yeah.
Okay.
Been November, I think. Yeah. So.
Okay. And great company. I mean, I was there for 5 years. Absolutely zero complaints or issues with Keller Williams.
Yeah. Incredible foundational mindset, business acumen. There's just they are truly, and I think they still are to a large part, still a very big training company, carefully disguised as a real estate firm. You know what I mean? There's just there's so much to be learned and absorbed, and I think that one of the things that they're still very good about is promoting and getting people who have never turned transactions into becoming top producers. So yeah, it's good stuff. So
for sure. Now, let me ask you this, because again, all these new agents that have joined in the last couple of years got their licenses, and of course, they're all going through this big shift in the market. Going back for yourself, back 2009, 2010, knowing what you know now, is there anything you would do differently if you were starting all over again? Like, can you think of some things maybe back then that just you've learned? We all learn along the way.
No, we certainly
anything
learn.
that jumps out at you?
Yeah,
There's some things I would do different if I was starting today.
Well, I think that I'm gonna kind of beat the drum about prospecting, about getting your business through a lot of active prospecting. But I think that one of the things that I benefited from was just simply asking a question everywhere I went. It became my moniker everywhere I went. I was always asking someone or concluding a conversation by saying, "Hey, by the way, I sell real estate. Who do you know that I could talk to today that's looking to buy a home, sell a house, or invest in real estate?" And so just having that bit of a conversation, causing people to go, well, as a matter of fact, I've got my daughter or someone like that. That was one of the things that I wish I had asked more as a brand new agent
Right.
back in 2007, 2008. In 2007, whenever I started with this boutique as a brand new agent, I mean, talk about old school, Jeff. So I was given a phone and given the phone book and said, okay, there you go, make
That
calls.
was me. It's so funny you say that. My first broker, that's exactly what it was. I mean, he was very old school. I mean, great guy. No complaints at
Yeah,
all. I mean, helped me get started. But yeah, it
right.
was like, here's the white pages. You
Man,
start in A, I'll start in Z. We'll meet in the middle. I'm like, oh my,
yeah.
yeah, really? And then knocking on doors. I knocked on doors one day. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
some people love knocking on doors. I'll never knock on another
Yeah.
door as long as I live. It's just
not
not my thing. It wasn't what I
not so
wanted to do.
much. Well,
Yeah.
I've got some of these little, I don't, when you go through like something traumatic when you're a kid, you kind of
Hmm.
carry around that, or some people carry around that.
Yeah.
I can remember my first ever job that I actually had was was with this company called Sales Leadership Club. I don't know if you've ever heard of this.
No.
No kidding. You'd find it in the back of the comic books. So Marvel Comics, be in the back.
Right. Right.
And hey, you can sell greeting cards, and then you get all these points to get like a spy camera or the spy goggles, or the what's that
Yeah.
fart bag thing? No, I'm
Yeah,
serious.
no, I
So
totally know what you mean. Yeah.
so
All
after
these
going
prizes you
around.
could pick from.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, totally. That was their way of compensating, a 12-year-old. So I can remember having a little satchel briefcase thing that I would carry to elementary school, and having my own little card samples in there, and trying
I
to sell
did the
those
same
things
thing.
door to door.
I forgot all about this, but I totally did the same thing. And it was
So
this little
dude,
thing you could fill out where they would personalize. You just place the order, and then here comes all your box of all these
there you
cards you're giving them
go.
out to these people, boxes of
Oh
Christmas
man.
cards, whatever they would have them customized. Yeah, and you had prizes. Oh
I was
gosh, I
never
forgot
I
all
was
about
never more excited than to get my little spy camera. I mean, we
that.
never got the film developed, but yeah, but I was
Yeah,
jazzed,
yeah,
but it was still one of those things where man, I got a photographic memory, and I can still remember going door to door with my little satchel,
yeah,
and being afraid of who's going to answer the door, and being told that I'm not interested, and then when you're a
yeah,
11, 12-year-old, you're like, oh, my life is over. I'll
yeah,
never get
yeah,
my spy camera.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
So, but
That's
yeah,
That's
but
funny. Have you
yeah,
have you been pretty entrepreneurial? I mean, your whole life. I
uh,
mean, is that something that's just
yeah,
been there for you?
I would say, man, that's kind of a tough question. Have I been entrepreneurial? I would say yes, but prior to this, I owned a business. I've been a business manager, actually working at Keller Williams. As a matter of fact, I was interim team leader for several months
Right.
while we were hunting for a new TL of an office of about 135. Um, but I wouldn't say that was my where I was kind of bent personality wise. But I did operate kind of a medical billing service for a couple years from home. Did that from home for a little while prior to real estate. But I would say the larger character trait that I've got is just my tenacity. I'm not willing to give up. I'm willing to continue going, whatever it takes to move forward and getting myself out there. And um, I'm one of those people that when I take on responsibility, I'm going to make sure that it's done right.
Right.
And so getting involved into real estate, even though it's definitely got that entrepreneurial slant, it's a matter of wearing several hats, as you know. You're
Yeah.
business manager, you're
Yeah.
sales manager,
Yeah.
you're kind of
Marketing.
doing it all. And so
All the stuff that goes along with. Yeah,
it
for sure.
it is. And so you just kind of in a way have to categorize what you're doing at that moment, or time block at that moment, and then work it out till you've gotten it done. So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Now, when did you had a team at one point, right? I mean, I think do you
Yeah.
still have a team, a traditional team?
So, well, not on the level of multiple agents that are on the team right now. I've got a team I've got a full time transaction coordinator, and then a full time social media person, and a full time video
Okay.
editor right now.
Okay.
Be bringing on another executive assistant here in the next couple months, but yeah, right now it's more of an administrative heavy team.
Okay.
And we've been working on a lot of systems these past probably 2 or 3 months right now. Actually,
Hmm.
migrating a lot to over to KV Core.
Okay.
We've been using Commissions Inc. as far as like a CRM and a follow up system, which has been good. But now kind of migrating all that stuff over to KV Core. And so, but yeah, that will allow us the backbone that we really need to be able to do some of the things that we're doing right now, or I'm doing right now, in order to convert a lot of internet leads. So I
Right.
have a lot of internet leads that I pay for, and some that I don't, that I pay a referral fee for. But it's internet leads. It's a tough conversion process. It's probably about 4%. So we're very administrative heavy on that. Um, and so, but yeah, I'll have additional teammates in the future. I have had a team of up to 9 agents
Okay.
and 3 different admin at one
Wow.
point.
Wow.
And that was like herding cats to a certain extent.
What
Um,
was the biggest challenge for you with having a team?
Having
Because
a
a
lot of
lot of agents, it's kind of the natural progression. I mean, my first 3 years, it
mm-hmm.
was just me.
Yeah,
I did 32 deals my first year. I did 50 my second. I did 72 my third. It
there you
about
go.
killed me.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in this office. I was
Right.
on this computer 7 days a week till 1 o'clock in the morning every night, like trying to keep up with the business,
Right.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And my family is like, like, who are you? We don't even know you anymore. Uh, you know, my wife
Yeah,
introduced
no.
me to my kids. Here, this is your daughter, Jet. Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I mean, it was crazy. And
Yep.
so she got her license. We moved to Keller Williams, built a team. That was
Mm-hmm.
kind of the natural progression for,
Right.
I think, a lot of agents that, once you get past, whatever, 40 deals, 45 deals, 35,
Yeah.
somewhere in there, like at some point
Yeah,
you hire an
probably.
assistant and start building. It's kind of the natural progression. What
Correct.
what are the plus? Let me ask you this. What are the pluses of building a team? What are the challenges of building a team?
Well, I mean,
What'd you go through?
the pluses to building a team is the fact that as a team owner, you have a wow, so many different directions I can take that. On the emotional side of the frame, you're actually helping build someone up, and literally teaching them how to fish. You're
Yeah.
literally you're coaching yourself. You're actually building a legacy by putting yourself into that person, that individual on that side. On the side of support, you've got that teammate. When you're in a team type of an environment, you're creating a certain level of culture with your team and camaraderie. You each hold each other accountable through the process. I think that if there's a situation where that teammate for whatever reason has a buyer appointment but they can't go show houses, you've got that backup type situation. So the
Right.
the logistics of having that team in place. I mean, there's a lot of benefit that's involved there. There's a lot of benefit that's involved in just staying in that mindset when you've got somebody else that you're accountable to and they're accountable to you,
Right.
which is a huge benefit as a team owner. On that level, there of course is that ability to help a help. Gosh, I'm trying not to say this the way I want to. I would say that there are additional monies that come into the team because you've got teammates. Okay,
Right. Right.
but I do believe that you're providing a lot of opportunity to people who are interested in joining a team, to be able to place them in a high productive environment. You're teaching them culture. You're teaching them about the ways that you've been able to prospect, to convert, to get someone under contract, to get them to closing, and their experience success on that side. So there's a lot of intrinsic benefits, and I think that those in a massive way outweigh some of the financial benefits. There's a lot of financial benefits to it as well. You
Right.
ask about some of the negatives. So some of the negatives that can be involved. Do have to do with the fact that you're kind of, I mean, not that when you're a solopreneur that you're not on call 24/7, but you're even more so when you have several teammates.
Yeah.
I think that it's all about your value proposition and what you're offering other agents who want to join your team, whether they be new or an experienced agent. But there's got to be a high level of value that they're seeing from you as a team leader, from the culture that you're creating, from the vision that you're casting, and people need to buy into that vision.
Right.
Um, a lot of folks right now are struggling with this idea of, man, what do I do now? Well, the business is kind of cooled a little bit. I'm not seeing the referrals from my past clients, or I'm not seeing
Right.
internet leads convert. What do I do now? I think that being a part of a team allows you that ability, to really see the vision be cast and to see that camaraderie, and you hold each other accountable, and it's iron sharpening iron. That's what
Right.
it is.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
for sure. Did you ever have it where here's where the team somebody on the team got really really good and then left the team to start their own team? Did that ever happen for you
Well, uh,
or something similar to that?
I think so. I mean, I think something similar to that, has happened. Um, maybe once or twice, but not very often. No, it
Okay.
was
Yeah.
more along the lines of, I think that where I'm at today, has to do with the fact that, my wife ended up having breast cancer. I had two different offices that I maintained, one in two different, Keller Williams market centers, as a matter of fact. And, so I spent a lot of time driving, and then of course coaching and training and mentoring, and having my own real estate business, that it just got to be a little too consuming for me,
Yeah.
especially with
Okay.
her. And,
Sure.
she's fine, by the way. She's in remission, so
Nice.
we haven't had any issues since that all took place. But it was one of those challenging aspects that causes you to really reconsider where you're at, and going, okay, maybe I need to, draw this back a little bit, handle be able to be there for my family, and
Yeah.
then, we'll relaunch. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I did have that happen a couple of times where my number one guy on my team, and again, I always wanted to
Mm-hmm.
build the agents up, do as many deals as you can, and I wanted them to be able to learn how to do their own deals. And I do see
Oh, yeah.
some people. I had one guy though, he's my number one guy, and he ended up
Mm-hmm.
eventually leaving and wanted to start his own team. And I get it, totally. But I'm like, dang it, like how do I replace this guy? Like
Yeah.
it took several years to build up that. He was doing 35, 40 deals a year. That's a hard
Oh, yeah.
position to replace. That was challenging.
Well, and
But
a lot of the
go ahead.
experts are saying that, when I say experts, I'm saying the experts in our industry that you see speaking all the time on stage and whatnot, talk about the fact that you kind of, in a way, have to always be recruiting, kind of like always be closing, but, always be recruiting and putting people on your bench. And I think that's one of the tougher parts about being a team leader, is that you want to be active in what you presently do in your craft of real estate, but that you've got to constantly be thinking about, okay, who else do I have in case someone were to grow and mature to a certain point. And, it's difficult. It's one of those things that's difficult. But I think with everyone that you bring onto your team, in the back of your mind, you've got to know that at some point you are so good, Jeff, that people emulate what you do, and they're going to maybe make the decision either to go into a business partnership with you, or to start their own organization, And
Yeah,
so, and it's because you've done such an awesome job training and coaching and leading and directing them, that they get to that level. So I
yeah,
totally understand. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
think I try and tell people, like I was on a Zoom a little bit
Mm-hmm.
ago with an agent, and she's on the team, and with the shift in the economy, like they've adjusted their splits and different things, and she's not
Yeah.
real fired up about it. I mean, it's just, and I get it. I mean, the expenses don't go away.
Yeah.
Even though
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what the market does, if you own an
Right.
office or if you have a team, like I remember when 2008, my expenses went up because
Right.
I'm doing everything I can to try and find more deals for the agents on my team. I felt so responsible for how
Oh,
they're doing, and
gosh.
that was tough. I mean, I'm losing sleep at night because
Yeah.
here's an agent on my team, single mom, I hadn't had a closing in 3 months, and she's calling me up every day, multiple times a day, like help, help, help. I don't know
Yeah.
what I'm doing, whatever, and that was hard. And, we all got through it, but man, that was just challenging as well. I
It
think it's
certainly is.
important. I,
Yeah.
I was telling this agent this morning, I think it's nothing wrong with being on a team. It's all good,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But I said it's important to at least get to a point where you can be as self sufficient as possible,
Yeah.
because you just never know what could happen. I had a guy join me, it was
Mm-hmm.
a year ago last November, and I had showed him the EXP business model 3 or 4 years ago. And
Right.
he liked it. He was intrigued by it, but just very comfortable in the team. And
Mm-hmm.
he'd been there for 7 years, and they're providing leads and they're doing everything. all of a sudden out of nowhere, he calls me up and says, "Hey Jeff, you're still with EXP? Yeah, I think can we meet for coffee? Because I think I
Yeah.
need to make a move." I go to meet with him, and the team leader him and his wife. They had called a Monday morning meeting for the team.
Mm-hmm.
Hey everybody, just want to let you guys know we decided we're going to move to Florida. Just want to give you a 60-day notice, and you guys have
Wow.
been great, but we're time to move on. We're going to shut things down. And
Yeah.
he'd been with them 7 years, very
Uh-huh.
comfortable. Didn't know how to generate his own leads because they've been providing that. Didn't
Right.
know how to, once he got the contract written, it pretty much went to the team and they took care of it. Transaction coordinator, whatever. He's out showing homes to the next
Man.
person, goes for the inspection, but that's pretty much it. Then show up at
Mm-hmm.
closing. Just there was a lot of things about this business. He was just like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not a good place to be. Now he's doing very well
I
here.
know.
He's done great, but
Mm-hmm.
it's important, I think, to at least if you're on a team, don't get so comfortable and relying on the team that you're not learning how to build your own business in that sense. And
Right.
whatever, because any number of things can happen that's out of our control. This market shift, it's out of our control.
Totally.
Your
Yeah.
wife and her health. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
don't plan on that.
Right.
Whatever. There's things that are going to happen that are just out of our control, and most agents aren't ready for
Right.
stuff like that. So
So true. And I think that what it does, it's really it's really a little bit of a self-actualization for that agent to go through something like that.
yeah,
And then they've got to make the decision on whether or not they want to rejoin another team or if they just want to do things on their own and find their own support system. So,
yeah, for
yeah, I'm
sure.
completely with you on that. Mm-hmm.
It's fun. I mean, I don't know. It makes me passionate about doing what I'm doing in terms of just, again, helping agents,
Mm-hmm.
learn and grow as much as they can, build their business and all that, but also just, some of the side benefits of what this model can do for them at EXP. Because I mean,
Oh man. Yeah.
there's an agent here in town, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people here know her. She's been around the business for a long time. This surprised me. She posted on, it was either like Friday or Saturday last week.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, their furnace like caught on fire or something. Like
Oh
she
wow.
put this post, and they just had it put in like in 2017. Like this
Yeah.
got me thinking. She was like, if you don't have fire extinguishers, get 10 of them, put them all over your
Yeah.
house. Teach your kids to
Uh-huh.
use them. Like what? And I forget. Like all of a sudden they smelled something. Something's not right. Whatever. The
Oh
husband goes
man.
downstairs and the furnace is like on fire.
Right. Uh-huh.
Comes up, gets the fire extinguisher, puts it out. But they're displaced out of their house right now, like 4 months or something. They're going to be out because of the smoke damage and everything else. I was like, what? Like that's crazy. I've never heard of that. But like
Yeah.
things happen, life
Right.
happens,
Mm-hmm.
and she's all set. She's a great agent. She'll do,
Sure.
they'll get through stuff like that. We all get through it, but
Uh-huh.
man, we're not ready for some of this stuff, and
No, I mean, and
curveballs that can hit.
they certainly can, and I think that it's a matter of who you surround yourself by and who you partner with that makes all the difference, in
Yeah.
this. One of the things that I mean, there's several reasons why I came over to EXP from Keller Williams, and again, Keller Williams is a great company, but I think that I wanted to put myself in a position where uh, you know, as an agent, you've got really three choices. You can either do more transactions. You can either do more transactions. You can do luxury transactions, or you can have a team. And that's kind of your three-legged stool of what you can do in real estate, at least
Right.
with
To make
some
more money.
brokerages.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you want to grow your business, those are the options. Yep.
those are the options, pretty much. With coming over to this company and experiencing the high level of training and education that this company provides, and knowing that a lot of the folks that used to do training and education were from the company I was at came over to EXP, and now they're doing it over here, and there's a lot of culture and experiencing the growth and all of that, and then realizing that there's a legitimate fourth I guess leg, if you will, to your own personal business income that's more of a passive income type of structure through our revenue share, that affords you that ability to have that constant income coming in, especially in times whenever the transactions are harder to produce, they're harder to close. I know that over the past 4 months now, I've had about 4 or 5 deals that buyers just simply backed out and said, I'll wait,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what? you know,
Yeah.
but having that other fourth leg there, and then being able to know that that's a part of this
Right.
in this business model, and it's legit,
Hmm.
is something that helps you to support you in what you're doing. So
Sure. I love
That
that that's there for people.
oh
It's a very small
yeah,
percentage of agents here that take advantage of that.
oh yeah,
Whatever. But that opportunity is here for everybody. I mean, what you just said. My wife
hmm,
and I, we had 3 closings in November that
yeah,
all fell apart. One was an
yeah,
inspection issue, it was an electrical issue that just was going to
hmm,
cost a fortune. The sellers didn't want to do it, and they backed out. We had another one.
right,
Interest rates got too high. They didn't lock in time, and
oh yeah,
payment couldn't
yeah,
afford it. And I forget the third one, but so we had no
hmm,
closings in November of our own, but I got paid
sure,
on like, I don't know, 65, 68 closings, something like that, whatever it was.
yeah,
That,
yeah,
and whatever, it's more than enough to cover our bills,
it certainly
and
is,
it's just that
yeah,
it's that revenue share piece, which is just a nice option that it's here,
oh yeah,
and so, yeah.
yeah.
Did you, were you open to looking at EXP? Like when somebody called you, were you like, sure, I'll take a look, or how did you first see it?
So about 3 years ago, well, probably about 4 years ago now, the couple of guys that were here in Colorado that took a leadership position with Keller Williams, they had left Keller Williams and went over to EXP. Of course, at that point, I think EXP may have been 9 or 12,000 agents.
Right.
So back again, looking 4 years ago, about 4 years,
Hmm.
4.5 years ago,
Hmm.
and so at the time they joined, I called them up and I'm like, guys, you guys are so well respected and everyone loves you and you're part of the owner of part of his top 25 agents in the country. Why would you leave? This is ridiculous. And they said, no, it's really good. It's really good. You should you should come over, but we're not going to push you. It's nothing about that. But got to talking to some of my friends, and my friends were like, "Yeah, this it's gonna fail. It's gonna fall apart. This can't happen." Well, then 86,000 agents later, and these guys are doing so phenomenally well, and their average revenue share per month is somewhere between 40 and 50,000 a month, and I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, that's pretty substantial for just 4 years, but they're still they're still just really doing their things. They're doing podcasts. They're doing some. They're still getting some group events together, things like that. They
Hmm.
still just stay in front of people, but they're just a couple of the kindest, gentle servant leaders that you know.
Right.
And
Right.
so no, it wasn't a lot of like harsh kind of harassment from anyone to join or anything like that. Instead, what I found is that I got invited to an event that we have that is put on by a guy named Brent Gove with
Hmm.
EXP,
Yep.
called the Build event. Got invited to that the year before last and went to that, and wow, that did it. That was like,
Yeah.
every excitement, culture, all these people going, I love real estate. Let's do it. Let's
Yeah.
make $1 million. And you get
Yeah.
around these people with this high levels of energy, and you're like, wow, I thought this was supposed to be a cloud-based company, and
Yeah.
it is. It is when you consider the fact that there's that some of the stuff is done through online means, but man, it's not. No,
Yeah.
there's nothing different.
I've got
Uh,
more relationships with agents today than I've had in my 21 years in the business. I
really?
mean, it's just, and it's, which is just
Yeah.
weird to me. I mean, it doesn't make any
Hmm.
sense because it is virtual, but between the Zooms, but also like here
Hmm.
locally, I mean, I don't know, we did a big kickoff dinner a week ago today,
Yeah.
whatever, had 40, 50 agents show up and, had a
Yeah.
great time there. And I don't know, we do a
Hmm.
happy hour the third Thursday of every month. We do a lunch every other week. There's groups of agents getting together to make calls together, to mastermind together, in person, on
Oh,
Zoom, all
that's
these.
awesome.
We're just doing all kinds of stuff, Top
Yeah.
Golf and all these different things that we're doing just to have fun and build those relationships. And I
Yeah.
don't know, it's just the culture is definitely here, and that camaraderie, is here,
Oh
is
yeah.
on a nationwide basis. And same
Hmm.
thing. I've been to Brent's events, they're so good,
Oh
and I've
yeah.
been to
And EXP
shareholders, I've been
Con
to
and
EXP
shareholders.
Con, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's almost like 3 or 4 times a year we're getting together. It's like and it's like a reunion every time. It's like
Yeah.
you're building these relationships all over the country, and it's pretty amazing.
Well,
So
can I share something with you, Jeff?
go ahead.
I
Yeah.
just think this is the coolest thing. So, I went to an event that down in Phoenix last year, as a matter of fact, and I mean a smaller event, probably about 300 or 400 people that came to it, and there's the president of EXP. There's Glenn Sanford that's there.
Mm-hmm.
And after the meeting was over, he's just kind of out in the hallway, just meeting all these agents. I mean,
Yeah.
probably one of the most down to earth guys that you'll ever meet. Takes my phone. He goes, "Oh, let me show you some things that we're working on here." And he's taking my phone. He's looking at his phone, and we spent probably 15 or 20 minutes just kind of going
Right.
over technology tools that EXP's got and implementing and
Yeah.
all of this. So it's so interesting. It's just a different dynamic, and it reminds me a lot. If I could give an analogy, it reminds me a lot of some of these larger corporations where the president is right there with you.
Yeah.
He's in the
Yeah.
trenches, and
Yeah.
so that's totally Glenn Sanford. So
Yeah.
it's a
For
good
sure.
company. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Where do you see yourself going 5 years from now? Where do you want to be with your business? What do you
Okay,
want to do?
so glad you asked that question. So 5 years from now, so I will have a larger team by the end of this year. My intent is to have 15 agents by the end of that, about year 3.
Okay.
In the next 4 years, because I've got more of I want to be out of real estate. I'm actually in the next 4 years, I'll be in this for a period of 20 years, and at that point, I'd like to be more in the business ownership side, and allow another agent to step in as kind of a lead agent for the team. My belief is that I'll either have a partnership with someone or several folks that'll be a part of the team, and then we'll be branching out as well.
Okay.
But my intent is to basically replace myself and get into more of that business ownership role. There's a lot of philanthropic things that I'd like to do. I would actually like to get into a position where I'm teaching people how to fish.
Yeah.
And
There you go.
and really getting people out of a poverty type of mindset. There's a lot of folks. I grew up living with my grandparents for most of my life, my adolescence, and we struggled. We really struggled to kind of make ends meet. My parents did, and I don't want that for myself. I don't want that for anyone. I would like people to get into a certain level where they've actually got investments, they've got assets, and they have residual income coming in. And so I want to be able to help people set up those tools and to be able to kind of in a way bless the world. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. Very cool. Very cool. And your wife's doing well, and your kids. How old are your kids?
Yeah. So so I actually have 4, and so which span all of now 27 to 6, and so. Yeah. So
Wide
27,
range.
6, and then in the middle, 14 and 11. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Well, good for you.
So all
Any
daughters.
last thing you wanna add here before we wrap it up? I really appreciate your time. Some good stuff
Man,
there for people listening.
so here's what I would say. For your viewers is to say, don't lose heart. If you're in real estate, I'm assuming that we're talking to mostly real estate agents. Is that
Primarily,
right?
that's who's going to
Primarily?
see this.
Okay.
Yeah, there might be
All
some other
right.
people, but
Well,
mostly real estate agents.
if you're in real estate or you're an entrepreneur, don't lose heart about our economy, about where things are at. We're after all the Christmas holidays and all of that. People get a little distracted with that. Things begin to pick up, and then historically, we watch where what happens in January becomes a little bit more of that spring season. So don't lose heart. Don't give up. Keep pushing forward. Get your unfair share, but please understand that as an entrepreneur, that you're in sales, and the biggest thing that you're selling is yourself. And so make sure that you have got a great offer, and that you reach out to the people that actually know you, that like you, that trust you already. Make sure that you're there with them. Utilize video. Utilize your phone. This is our $1 million device right here. That's about $1,000 once you pay the thing off. But I mean, this right here is everything that you need. This is your movie studio. This is your recording device. This is your contact. This is your contact list. This is everything that you really need. It's just a matter of getting down and getting with some people. Partner with some great people like Jeff, and get yourself involved and active, and be tenacious. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Go for it. You got this. You can make it
That's
happen.
awesome. No,
Yep.
great advice. Don't lose heart on it. I'm telling people right now, read past the headlines.
Yes.
This is not doom and gloom. This is not 2008. No matter
Yeah.
what the headlines
Oh
say.
gosh,
I
no.
read that the other day.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is all like we're not even close to 2008.
No, no, we're
Back then
not.
it was
Uh-uh.
it was a lot of the subprime mortgages that led to
Yeah.
2008. There was a lot of issues there. We had 2 million foreclosures in 2008. We had 88,000 at the end
Yeah.
of this last year. We're not even close to the market of 2008. We're really going back more to a normal kind of market to some degree.
So,
But people the last couple of years have been anything but normal. So people are like, "Oh my
oh
God,
yeah,
what's happening? The sky is falling." No, 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 no.
when
Like
yeah, when our concern is the price of eggs, believe me,
yeah, yeah, yeah. They have
believe me,
gotten high.
we're
Make
nowhere
me
near
crazy.
2008.
No,
So,
that's so true. It's so
yeah.
true. So yeah, absolutely. Keep going. Don't lose heart.
Mhm.
You got into this for a reason. Don't just walk
Oh
away from
yeah.
the business. Like get around the right people because they can
Yep.
help you.
That's right.
Our group, we do a mastermind every Tuesday morning that's open to everybody, all agents everywhere. And we're
Love
getting
it.
50, 60, 70, 80, 100 agents on there, depending on the week and
Man,
kind of what we're doing. And
I gotta
again,
join
just
you.
you should. You're always
Yeah.
welcome. Any agent, anybody that listens to this is welcome. Every Tuesday morning, 9 a.m.
Mhm.
Mountain Time. It's been awesome. We're ideas getting thrown out every week that I'm like, wow, I never thought of that. 21 years in the business,
Oh
just never
yeah.
thought of some of these things. And that's the value, I think, of being around the best agents literally from
Oh
across
yeah.
the country and everybody working
Yeah.
together. We're all doing different things and we've learned different things over the years. And, so plug into these groups, plug into the things that are out there. And,
Well,
you
y-
can gain market share in this kind of business, in this kind of
you
market.
certainly can. No, you
So
certainly can. And that was one of the bigger reasons for joining EXP was the fact that I kept bumping into these top producers
yeah,
one after the other, going, wow, this is like
yeah,
the top, this is like the best of the business
yeah,
in one company. So
for
anyway, it's
sure.
good stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
man, I really appreciate your time. Congratulations on all your success. I look forward
Thank
to
you.
seeing you here soon. Are you going to Orlando
Oh
here in a
man,
few
can't
months? Yep.
wait. Yeah.
Shareholders, I'll
So,
be there as well for sure. So, I'll probably
okay.
see you before then. Some of these
Let's
Colorado
get together
events, or
before then.
we
Yeah,
got to
that'd
get
be
together
great.
for sure. It'd be great to grab a coffee or something. So
That'd be great.
it'd be awesome.
Love
So,
it.
guys, if you're watching this and you've never taken a look at EXP, I would tell you don't know what you don't know. Just come look at it.
Yeah.
Nobody's here to push you on it or sell you on it. It's got to be the right thing for you. But if you're friends of Clinton and you've never seen it, call Clinton. Reach out like, hey, show me this EXP thing. Reach out to me if you'd like whatever. If you have any questions for anything that we talked about here today, for either one of us, put them in the comments here, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn.
Yep.
We will be sure to get back to you, get those answered. But we're here to
Absolutely.
help you in any way we can. So,
Yep.
Clinton, thank you very much. Guys,
Hey,
have a
thank you,
great
sir.
day. We got it. We'll see you soon. Take
See
care.
you soon.